Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Lizard's Reading Corner. Like I said in the video before the announcement, it's been a while since I last been in booktube, but here I am back, and today I'm going to be talking about my fiction, fantasy, and sci-fi books. Alright, so the order I will be working on with these books is that first I'm going to be talking about the audiobooks finished, then with the physical books, and finally the digital books. Mainly because that's the order how many books I read. Most of my books were digital books this past 2 months. So the first book that I read, well, not that I read, more like I finished, because I had already started that book last year, but I never got to finish it, was the audiobook of Fable. I really enjoyed this book. It's written by Jordan Ifuenko. It was an audiobook, part of a series, and I rated this book 5 stars. It's a totally must. I think it's based on African mythology, which I appreciated because the only type of mythology that I usually read in books is Greek. And it had a great plot and character developments, and something I really liked was actually the experience of listening to the book, because I mean, when I'm reading, I don't know if that happens to anybody, but like there are times I can't really like imagine stuff, how it's being said, how it's being sung, and like since there was somebody there that was narrating it, like, and she actually had an African accent, and she was singing the songs, she was talking in the language, and like the way she was expressing the things was really good. So I really enjoyed also that aspect of narrating the story, and I am very looking forward to reading the second book, which is Redemptor. The second books I'm going to be talking about are the print editions that I read. I'm going to be talking about them together because they are part of the same series. You saw a little bit of it. It's the classic sci-fi series, Foundation series, written by Isaac Asimov. I started reading this book after I saw the cover of the book. I mean, I really liked the cover. The aesthetic was pretty good, pretty cool, and I am currently, one of my goals is like to get more into the sci-fi genre, and that's why I started reading it. I just used the excuse that in the Goodreads group that I am, they do like a sci-fi book monthly, and I suggested Foundation and Empire since they had already read Foundation, and that book won for the month. So I just went ahead and read the first Foundation book, which is titled Foundation, and then I went ahead and got Foundation and Empire, and I read it. Overall, the Foundation book, I rated it 3 stars, mostly because I was not really, like, my mind was not much of into it, and I couldn't understand like a lot of the things that were going on. However, it did get me like interested enough to continue reading the series. And the Foundation and Empire book, I gave it 4 stars. It's a book that I enjoy a lot more. It did help me understand some of the things that were going on in the first book. And the end, I have read that some people found it like very predictable. I was trying to predict, but I couldn't. But I really liked the ending, and female. I don't know if she's a protagonist. Probably she is protagonist in the second part of the book. I really liked her. She was amazing, in my opinion. So yeah, a 3 star and a 4 star. At the moment for this book, I am still interested in finishing the series. I actually have the next 2 books, which are Second Foundation and Foundation's Edge. Yeah, Foundation's Edge. But at the moment, I'm not going to continue them because I was looking more into more information about the writer and the series. And the writer, Asimov, did give a specific order how to read the books. His books, they're actually within the same universe, not only the Foundation series, but 2 of his other series. The first series is the Robot series, and the second one I forgot. And the first book I should be reading, it's iRobot. So I will be reading first iRobot and start from there. And I will most likely then reread Foundation and Empire, just to keep that continuity. The third book that I read, which was physical, but I can't show it to you because it was a book owned by a library and I already returned it. It's titled Bodas de Sangre, Blood Wedding, written by Federico Garcia Lorca. He is from Spain, if I'm not wrong. The book, I don't remember what year it was published. It's quite an old book, and it's actually not a book, it's a play, and it's pretty much about a wedding that has blood. I mean, the title is a little bit self-explanatory, and you'll understand if you read the book. I do have to check if they have it in English edition, because I did read in Spanish, since Spanish it's my first language. And personal opinion, I believe if you're able to speak several languages, if you're bilingual and you have a book that was originally written in the other language that you know, I think it's a better option to read the book in its original language than reading the translation. But for the people that cannot read the translation, that cannot read the book as if it's originally written, there's always the translation. I will check if they have it in English and share it with you guys if any of you are interested. It's a very interesting play, and it's like 88 pages if I'm not wrong. Oh wait, 120 pages. 88 pages was his other play, probably. It's 120 pages. Since it is a play, it's a very quick read. And I rated this book 4 stars. Mostly because it was not that engaging for me as like to get it into like the 5-star category, but I really enjoyed the play, and it was a very interesting one, very well written, and something I really enjoy reading about like this Hispanic authors is that usually like they have like hidden, well, not really hidden, but like they do like criticize the government, criticize something in the society through the writing, which is very, very, very cool to read and to learn about. So yeah, I will check if they have it in English, and if they have it, I will totally share it with you guys, and I'll put it here in the video after I finish talking about the book. Alright, so as I said, I checked if they had the play in Amazon, and they do. What you would have to do is enter in the website of Amazon, write Blood Wedding Federico Garcia Lorca, choose that, and it's going to appear. The one that I found is this first one. The cover is red, and it says Blood Wedding, Faber Grammar, and it says that is a version by Ted Hughes. I imagine that is the translation for the book itself. Price here, it says it's $14, but they do have used editions which are better prices. So yeah, if you're interested in reading this and you thought like maybe it won't be possible, they don't have it in English, they do have it translated in English, and it would be this one. I'm also going to be putting the link of this one specific in the description section so everybody can have it. Okay, now I am going to the digital books that I read, which are the majority of the books. I am going to start with the first book that I read, which was in digital format. This was Fable, written by Adrian Young. It's part of a series. The second book is titled Namesake. I will be reading that probably soon, hopefully soon. And my rating for this one was 3.5 stars. It was a fast-paced book, however, I did not like it as much. I mean, I was not very interested. I'm not very interested in the pirate aspect itself. I don't know, like I was not really interested in the pirate aspect when I started reading the book, and that's probably why I did not like it that much. But for those that are interested in a YA pirate book, this is a perfect book, and I know it has like very, very good reviews. It's just for me, it was not my cup of tea. But yeah, that's it was pretty fast paced, so I was able to finish it like within 3 days that I started the book. The second book was The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This was my first John Gwynne book ever. I read this because it was the fantasy book of the month in my Goodreads group at the time. I do have Malice in my library as a physical book, but have not started it, so I was already interested in John Gwynne. I really liked the book. However, it was my first John Gwynne book, and like I've been getting more and more, like I've been starting to more and more read like adult fantasy books, so it was a little bit hard read for me at the beginning, but when I got used to it, it was much easier to finish it. And I gotta say, like, that main character, Orca, she's goals, as she's just ruthless, and she is so badass. I loved her. She was my favorite character of the book. I gave this book, of course, 5 stars. It's a very, very, very good book, and it has Norse mythology on it. The sequel for this book, The Hunger of the Gods, is actually coming now in April. That's a book I will probably be reading in May. But I'm so looking forward to it, especially after the cliffhanger and that I was hoping for while I was reading the entire book. The next book that I read in ebook was A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. This is a middle grade book. It's written by T. Kingfisher. I gave this book 3 stars. I mean, it was entertaining. It was not a bad book, but I just found it too childish for me. And in my opinion, the things that I like, it was too childish for me. I mean, it is a middle grade book. I mean, I usually enjoy middle grade books. Like, I'm reading now House Moving Castle, but I'm liking it a lot more. Maybe because the way it's written, and probably because it's older, so like I prefer reading it. I prefer that. But A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, I really didn't like it. I found it too childish for me, but it is adventurous. It has a war. It's pretty much it's a wizard that can do her magic by baking, which is the concept itself. It's pretty cool. It's very interesting. But not my cup of tea. However, I do wish that they had a sequel to the book, because it was pretty open-ended. I know the writer has other books. I don't think I will be reading them. I'm still deciding, because I don't know if I would be like, it would probably be the same experience with this one, but like I would really like to know if her other books like are within the same universe as this book, which I mean would be very interesting. But it's a book that I definitely recommend for people, for like children and middle-aged kids. It's a book I definitely recommend. I think like 12-year-old me would really have liked this book. For the last book that I read in the month, in terms of digital edition month, it was The Shadows Between Us. The rating that I gave it was 4 stars or 3. Shadows Between Us, it was actually a 4-star book for me. It's a book that I really enjoyed. The beginning, I think I was not, it was actually interested, and it caught me up the attention because of how the protagonist is. She was very interesting. She's not like your usual goody two-shoes protagonist. She is pretty selfish in her way, and it was a little bit dark, so I really liked that. Initially thinking about it when I was making this video, I was like, I don't really remember much about it, so I don't think it did make like a lot of impact in terms of how I liked it, but I did go over a little bit, and it was actually the top read of the month for me in February. I definitely did like it. It did keep me interested in it. I was interested in it. So yes, even though like right now I can't remember much about it. So at the beginning I was like, nah, there are things like it are not clicking with me, but probably like right now, because I read it like a while ago, right now they're not clicking with me, but back then when I read it, they definitely clicked with me. And I am looking forward to reading the sequel, which is coming up if I'm not wrong, to see what comes now, because the character development, I really liked it, because she stayed true to who she is, even though she did stay true to who she is in a way, but she did develop as a character. And the Shadow King, he did recognize her how she is with her faults, let's say, in a way, and he did not take it against her, which was actually pretty cool. And I feel like if I were in that situation, or like what you would usually see in that situation, if it's that like he would not want to talk to her, but like that did not happen. So this may be a little bit of spoiler alert. I apologize to those who are planning to read it and felt that they were spoiled. I'm trying to not say much, but yes, I think it was a great character development on her part while staying true to who she is as a person. And she's a very strong character, which I really, really liked. She was a very strong character. And he is also a strong character, and I really like how he was good to her, I think. Yeah, he was good to her. And I really like that. And he did not make her change, which I think was pretty cool as well. For the top read of the month, usually this is like a top 2, since it's just gonna be like one top read per month. However, I'm gonna put it as 1, 2, 3, because in January the books I had in January are in top of the February one, which I already said. So in number 1 I have Raybearer. Even though I did not start it this year, I did finish it this year, so I counted toward this year. That was my top read of the month. The second was The Shadow of the Gods, John Gwynne. I think it was a very well written book, amazing world, which I can't wait to read this sequel and learn more about this world and understand a lot more about what is going on. I really liked it. Like, it's a really top read of the month. And the third, as I already said before, The Shadows Between Us was number 3. Mostly because of the characters and their character development while staying true to themselves. That's true the main character is staying true to herself. That's the thing I really like the most, and that's why it was a top read, and it was probably the most interesting book that I read that month. Foundation series was good as a whole, but individually I was not that much into it compared to, let's say, this books that I'm talking about in the shadows between us. So yeah, those are my top read of the books. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment about which were your top reads of the month in January and in February, and why you like them so much. I'm always open to new books and reading what they're about. I'm usually like reading a variety of genres, even though I'm trying to focus more on fantasy and sci-fi, but I really want to know what you guys read about. Yes, and till next time.